Hello traders, welcome to our live trading workshop session. Today we're going live with Gavin Holmes, Trade Guider team and Master the Markets here. It is Tirunarpan here, founder of Master the Markets E-Trades Conference and the Traders Open Day. So here we are, joined along with Gavin. Hi Gavin.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. So we are recording at the moment, so we'll then restream this live on
Perfect.
YouTube.
Great.
So what do we actually have? So I was just going to take a look at the different instruments. A lot happening actually for today. So what we'll do is, so just to give you an overview of the flow of today's presentation. So first is that we'll look at some potential trades setting up in real time. Then we'll also introduce you to some strategies that you can use using the SMI and the volume indicator, which is very powerful, as most of you already know. And then the third thing is that then we can have a little bit of Q&A for any questions that you guys may have, okay? We've got people joining in from all countries, so it's really nice and good to hear, and some familiar faces as well. So let's have a great session, guys. So a couple of things what I'm looking at the moment. One thing I was looking at was GBP USD. What I'm taking a look at on the 15-minute time frame. So what we do is, and before I hand over to Gavin on the volume side of things, what we have done over here, for those of you joining in quite for the first time, like Samarini and all that, is with the smart money indicator framework, what we have done is, as I've said, it's a framework where it gives you the trend of the instrument on any time frame, basically. Let it be 15-minute, 1 hour, doesn't matter, daily, weekly, can give you the trend. And how have we done the trend on a quantitative basis? Is that we have quantified what a bottom and a top is according to the formulas that was given to us by the quant traders back in the 1960s. Okay. Now, what does that show? Very simply, orange arrow means that's a top. And when does the top gets confirmed? By the confirmation bar, which fulfills the formulas for a top. And then the vice versa for the bottom as well. Okay. So when the bottom gets confirmed by the confirmation bar, which is a blue dot. So once we got that, we can then derive four main important points. Okay. One is the trend of the particular instrument that we are looking at, which will show by the trend box over here on the right hand side. And then we also know the phase as well. And then on top of that, we get the three stats also, which I will touch on a little bit as we go along. And we look at some then strategies from here. Now, one thing I must say, and Gavin will mention this as well, is both our indicators, the SMI and the volume indicators, they are not buy and sell indicators, okay? But they give you a solid framework from which you can construct very robust strategies which are sustainable, scalable, and reproducible, and you can use it to achieve consistent performance, okay? With that said, we'll give you some examples of some strategies that you can do. For those of you joining in for the first time and it's a bit too much for you and all of that, you can always check out the 7 steps to CTP, what we have done from before, okay? And once you've registered for that name and email, and then you can get that all in your inbox, the 7 videos. So that say, let's take a look at some that are setting up at the moment on some of the strategies over here. So I was taking a look at 15-minute time frame. So we got a downtrend phase 1 on GBP USD. I'm also going to show you gold and DAX, and I'm going to pass it on to Gavin after that. What you can see is, you see, I've got a trend alignment table. So definitely do this as well. Traders will be very useful for you all. In fact, some of our clients which have taught this, they are making some really good, consistent cash on their trading accounts. I was just talking to one of the person from Germany as well, really doing very well. He said, Thiru, this is the best thing I've seen. It's very, very understandable, very simple to execute. So what I want you guys to do is you can prepare a similar table like this, where you're looking at the trends across all the different time frames. And what we are looking for, as the name suggests, is trend alignment. Then after that, you write a bias, okay, for the trade. So for example, on GBP USD, before I take a bias on the direction, so let me go on to here. So what I'm doing, so a trade is setting up over here, just like what David Weiss would say, isn't it? Gavin, a trade is about to happen. So
It's
we
already
are,
it's already in. It's already in.
yeah, you guys are already in. So we're waiting for a
Yep.
confirmation on the 15-minute time frame over here. So what we're looking at is Daily, so I get all the trends, right, put in together. So the trend box will tell me that, which is what I've done on the table over here, okay, on a quantified basis, not subjective, so that everybody here can have a solid framework that they can work on from. So if I join the arrows together, you can see it's like a downtrend phase 2, confirmed also by the VSA light indicators on the lower time frame. So when I go on to 4 hour, I take that trend again and I write it down into the box, which is uptrend phase 2, but direction is still towards the downside. And then after that, then we got the 1 hour time frame, which is also showing towards the downside also. So all of that, you first put it onto the table here, okay? All that align. Then it will become quite a bit apparent for you. So you can do that on all the instruments also, okay? And then on 15 minute, as we can see, which should be the time frame where we can enter on this particular strategy, different strategies we can enter differently. And then over here, on the 15 minute here, all we are waiting for, again, trend alignment is there. So across most time frames on this table, you can see it was towards the downside, right? So daily is a downtrend also, but the phase 2, but towards the downside still. This is an uptrend, but then it's an uptrend phase 2, so still direction towards the downside, top to bottom. And then most importantly, 1 hour and 15 minute is aligning towards the downside. We also take a look at the stretch thing. I'm not going to go through that too much because that's on our YouTube channel. You can check it at your own time on youtube.com/masterthemarkets. Check out this video, stretch principle. They're very powerful. They're very logical as well. You can subscribe and hit that all bell icon. So whenever we go live, then you can get all of that. And then what we are then looking for in the stretch, I've got it loaded on the other one over here. On the stretch principle, basically, let me bring it to here. On the stretch principle, and we can apply all of this in any instrument. And so over here, you see, that's the lower stretch over here, and it's far below the lower stretch at the moment, okay? So that's also pointing towards the downside also. So I'll just put lower here. And then the 50% OE. Now, this is very important. So according to the framework, as I said, we get 3 stats, right? And this OE stats, very powerful if you want to put some set targets. That's for one strategies. Other strategies, you don't need to put a target if you do not want to. And what we then do is, remember what I said with the framework? So with the framework, it keeps measuring how much each swing travels, yeah? So based on that, over here, if you can see that, let me see over here, and then let me change this to ATR, ATR, and then that will be good, 0.25, I'll change that to ATR. So that would tell us now how much does it travel for each swing, basically, okay? So there we go. So it's telling me that on a 50% probability, it gets to 1.25 ATR, okay? 1.25 ATR it gets to. So I'll put that onto here, 1.25 ATR. That's what I've written. What does that all mean? So if this top now confirms in real time, not hindsight, in real time, if this top now confirms, we didn't get a bottom over here, but when we get, because the top already got confirmed here, right? When we got a signal here. Now, if the bottom does confirm, then only then we can get a top. So in this case, we won't, but we can look at other strategies. But at this point, if it had confirmed, then what we would do is using this table, we use a 1.25 ATR and we put our target at the moment, okay? So 1.25 ATR over here on this framework over here. Let me just quickly just check that. That was about 10, so about 12 pips. So if this does confirm for us, then we would put it 12 pips from the close. So 124.35 minus 12, that's 124.23, isn't it? So that's what we would have done, and that would have hit it about around here on that green bar over there. So we'll wait for the other ones over here. So we had similar setup just before we came in, before we hit the live button on Brent oil as well. So over here on Brent oil, I'll show it to you before I pass it over to Gavin on gold. So Brent oil, before it turned around, we had an entry here. Look at that. And towards the long side, 1 ATR again on Brent oil, stop loss for here. It just hit it before it turned around. So do your trend alignment. This is very important for you guys towards the long side. That's what we had over here, right? So, and know your OE stats. Now on gold, what Gavin was saying, what we also had over here also, if you take a look, on gold, on alignment, we had all on the upside. And again, before we hit the record button, we had again a signal here. Entry on the close on the bottom, stop loss here, 1 ATR number was here, quickly hit it. This on one strategy. Some of you might say that, oh, it went so far after that. On another strategy, as what Gavin usually would love to prefer to do, you don't have any preset target. You just keep trailing your stop loss
Yeah.
behind even the VSA exponential curve, right?
Mhm.
On the VSA line. So Gavin, I think I've covered most of it. And I've given them one example on a strategy. I'll start to take a look at more trade opportunities coming up. I think the time being, maybe you can show them the different other markets that you're looking at as well.
Yeah. I just want to take a few moments to reflect on some of the charts that we're seeing right now. Obviously, we're looking at, I've get a lot of questions about Bitcoin, which I'll try to cover in this session as best I can. I've also got a lot of questions about gold. But let's go backwards. And I know this sounds odd, but that's what I've done. I've gone back and looked at charts using the chart reading masterclass that we did years ago with Tom Williams. And I'm trying to find out has everything changed? Now I'm going to show you why it hasn't. And we're going to do it now. So what I'm going to do is take the screen,
Yep,
if I
go for it.
may. Can I take the screen? Yep.
Yeah, go
Okay.
for it. Yeah, I think you should be able to. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to take the screen and going to go, okay, screen. Okay. And I'm going to put my charts up, and you should be able to see a screen here of NVIDIA. You should see that, right?
Yes. Nice.
Okay. So I did a video last week about NVIDIA, about why it was weak and why the sellers were coming in. Now, what did I know? I've been asked. I I know nothing. But what I did know is if we get massive volume, which is in our new software, coming in on 3 bars, which is actually what we look at. We're not looking at 1 bar anymore. We don't do it. And when I put SMI on top of this, which I'm not doing on here deliberately, because once you put it on, it's quite incredible. So, what are we at Trade Guider and Trade to Win? What we're looking for? We're looking for unusually high volume. Now, when you put SMI, the smart money indicator, on top of it, it's the same thing, really. It's looking at a footprint. And can it help you make money? It's up to you. You have to have a plan. As I said in my YouTube video earlier, you have to have a strategy of some sort. You can't go into this business. It's like a football player. Okay, a football player can't go and just walk into Southampton Football Club and say, "I'm a professional. I'm really good." It doesn't work. You have to train. You have to be professional. And I'm sure Tiru will tell you the same thing. Tiru is an expert. Well, he went into, I think it was cardiovascular. Is
That's
that right?
right. Yeah, cardiovascular pharmacology. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's my
yeah,
background.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. you didn't just wake up one morning and go, "Oh, I tell you what, I'm an expert." Well, if you did, I wouldn't want you to operate on me. But but the point is, it took you time to study, right?
Absolutely, like everyone, isn't it? It takes time to master their profession.
Yeah, you try to tell your kids that, right? I know you've just got a lovely baby, Shivam, but the bottom line is, I've got three teenagers, and you try to tell them, you say, you've got to work, you've got to study, got to do this. And then they go, no, I want to go on my computer and game. Like, fine. So I'm going to teach you a lesson here, all of you, and I hope it works. I'm going to try it. So we see a chart. We see very high volume, and this is our professional version of the software. We have a signal here, okay, in NVIDIA, it says PS, professional selling. Now, this is the most important part, and we're going to add the SMI onto this, but let's just start with the basics. Number one, weakness, when it appears, happens on massive up moves with big volume. That sounds stupid, doesn't it? It did to me right at the beginning when I was taught by the late Tom Williams and David Weiss and many others. I said, if the market's jumping up on massive volume, it must be buying. Well, we have to use the evidence, don't we? Now, as an ex-policeman, I'm going to show you the evidence, and you will see it. And if you get this, Tiru and I can teach you to become a professional. Now, what is the evidence? There's the volume, and we've got this new software that shows it. But the next price bar is down. It's not. If this was all buying volume, the next volume bar would be up. It's closed lower, and the next bar closed massively lower. Am I stupid? No, that is weakness. And if you can't see this, and it's happening right now in multiple markets, then you will not become a professional trader because you'll be buying at these breakouts because what they're trying to do is take out, and even the banks do it. They say, "Oh, we've got an old top. Oh, it's a breakout." It's not a breakout. It's a, I hate to use the word false breakout, but look what happens. Okay, look. Okay, that's why Nvidia collapsed. And there's no argument about it. You've got no demand after it. Here, ND. But I'm not. I'm showing you one chart here with just VSA. I'm not even using SMI. I'm just showing you sellers happen on up bars when news appears to be good. Donald Trump's got in. He loves, well, whatever. And then China comes out and says, oh, no, actually, we've got a better product. Bang. And everyone that's brought this product or brought this stock as it is, which is the NVIDIA product stock, I call it a product because in effect, what they're selling is a chip. Bang, 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 gone. So what do we do with this? How can we even look at this? We go to ARM, okay, and this is an even better example. Now we've got SMI, the smart money indicator. This was the biggest trade I've seen on the daily chart ever. Okay. Everything lined up. And it's going to go down tomorrow massively. And I don't care if I'm wrong or right. I'm just showing you what happened. This is going all the way down to this low. Now, I can't be wrong or right. I can only see what I trade. But let's look at the SMI and the VSA indicator, which is showing me this is going to fall. And it's very important because it happens all the time in small time frames. And with the new software that we've got, which we're on the version 2 here, you can see this. Here, you've got the SMI, you've got the VSA indicator. Now, let's analyze this, and then I'll let Tiru talk about this. There's a big yellow arrow at the top here. Why? The market's going up. Why would there be a yellow arrow on this? And then VSA has got a red one. Why? It's stupid. The market's going up, and a lot of traders will be buying in here. And we're going to tell you, and in my third book, you'll hear it, why people are confused. And Tiru and I have exactly the same mindset. We want to remove that confusion. So let's look at logic. I just watched a great program with Stephen Hawking, and he talked about physics, logic. Anything you want to do in life is logical. Logic tells me that if that was all buying, the next bar should close higher, right? That's logical. It didn't. The next bar closed lower. So supply in the market with this massive volume, well in excess of anything I've seen, has overcome demand. And then the SMI indicator has said, yeah, market's turning. I, I can't argue with it. The next bar closes lower than the close of that bar. And the next bar closes even lower. It tries to test it, but it's marked out and it fails. And now we've got the SMI confirmation. You're going to see a fall in price here. Okay, obviously not tonight, but it will happen. And it's going to happen over time. Some things take time. But what we can definitely say is supply has overcome demand at this area. And if we go forward and we project that out where the lines are, that's exactly what the software is doing. The new Pro version, it's projecting out what we call trigger numbers. I'm going to go back to Tiro on this because I think it's very important. So we've got the SMI indicators on here, and we've got a failed test, which is very valuable. I think it's important. What do these two indicators represent when we can put the VSA over it as well, but I could show multiple charts right now that are all setting up. What would you say when someone says, why is that indicator and why is that indicator there showing falling prices? What's your explanation?
I think, as I explained before, the SMI was designed to give you a framework when the bottom is confirmed and when the top is confirmed. So over here, you can see that the orange dot comes when the formulas are fulfilled for what has been programmed into there for a top to be recognized.
Right.
And that's what we got over there. But we just got to be aware that it's still in an uptrend, but it's a phase two, so it's a top to bottom move. And of course, when you combine volume on top of that, and if you believe that that fall is going to go further down and going to change the trend on the daily, and the main critical level we will look at, the last bottom that was there, if you go to the blue arrow, Gavin,
Yeah,
where
this
it's
one here.
there. Exactly. What level is that then? If you
Yeah.
move your horizontal cursor, yeah, just to the low of that bar,
Yeah.
134, isn't it? 131,
Hmm.
basically. So
Yeah.
if it breaks that further, then of course, then you will have a change of market structure or change in market behavior. And that gives you more confidence to hold on to that trade towards the downside because now you got a downtrend forming there. So it just gives you a very clear framework that you can trade confidently and with conviction. A lot of traders we have seen, me and Gavin, is when they trade, they don't have that conviction on what trend it is, on different time frames, how much move is left. And they're taking trades without having a very clear, concise trading rules and everything. So both of these indicators together can give you that clarity on when to enter, how to trade manage, and how to exit.
Right. Let's get to a live chart because I've got some emails coming in. Okay, so I'll go back to NVIDIA quickly. Um, I was asked the question about NVIDIA, and I've had quite a lot of emails about this because I did a YouTube video on it weeks ago. Um, where did the selling start? It was over here. Okay, it's a 4-hour chart, but why did it gap down? If you get no demand in an area of selling, which is what we saw, and then I put the SMI on it on the other screen here, everything lined up. It was like that had to fall. Now, let's go to a live chart because it's very easy to look at in hindsight. And I know and I understand this. People say, well, oh, you do it all in hindsight. Well, let's pick a chart, any one you want. I don't care. Give me a chart, anyone. Just type it in. I don't care. It could be the E-mini. It could be gold. I mean, gold. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's coming up all the time, isn't it? So we put up gold. What we do, and let me be clear. We are supporting MT5, MT4, Ninja Trader. It's all happening. But for the moment, it's what we've got, which we're testing, which is TradingView. So you say, well, okay, give me a chart. Okay, gold futures. Okay. Yeah. What's time frame? Oh, Gavin, can you do a 1 minute chart? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What's an upthrust? Which has appeared a few minutes ago, followed by no demand. Here. Now I've deliberately not put SMI on here for the moment to keep it simple, but we can add it really simple. But look at what the volume is telling you on the histogram down here, which is our new software. Now, I'm going to discuss this with Tiru because when we combine the two methodologies, which we do, and we'll add a SMI on here. We can do that. It'll probably show a top right there. But I want you to look at the volume. Now, we've got a new volume histogram in the new software, which when it goes above that green line, it's unusual, what I would call the elephant in the room. Okay, something's going on. But that's not the key. That's not the key. It's effort versus result. And this chart proves it because you can see what it's doing and it's about to collapse. Now, effort versus result is a universal law discussed in my third book in anything in life. It's actually correct. So what we have is a massive volume bar. You can see it. I don't need to. You can see it for yourself. It's gone through the green line. It's massive. But the price has closed on the low of the bar with the next bar closing lower. Now think about that just logically. Anyone can do this. And this is what Tom Williams taught me. If the effort to push the price up is strong, it would continue to rally and test and keep going. No, the price closed lower, and then we have what we call a gotcha bar, followed by no demand. It's all here. It's everything I've written. And it's everything that Tiru teaches in his teachings. There is absolute no demand after the upthrust. Why? If we look at that chart,
and I get the upthrust.
yeah, and I can see, I can hear people talking, saying, "Oh, that's an upthrust." It definitely is. And what happens there is what caught me out many times. Is you miss it because you see the market going up and it's rallying. Wake up, ladies and gentlemen. That is a setup. That is upthrust. 2-bar reversal, which I've programmed in, no demand, and then you put SMI on it, which we'll do, then all you've got to do is one thing. One thing. Make a choice. That's it. Do I go short? Do I go long? Most people here will be going long because they're stupid, with due respect, because they're the herd, which is what Tom wrote about. I don't like that word. In fact, in Malaysia, you can't use that. But I spent 25 years doing this. And I can tell you that there is certain setups that work, but there are certain setups that do not work. That works. It's in the right place. Okay. Now, if you look at the market, Tiru has said something which he'll talk about, I'm sure now. It's called the dance. You know, the market doesn't just take off up and then take off down, and but sometimes it does, but that's not common. The dance of the market is supply and demand. It's a balance.
Okay. No.
And I think it's important to recognise this. Tiru, I mean, we've clearly got something here.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got a load of people. There's loads of people. I mean, we've got a big audience here. Tiru, when you talk about the dance of the market, what do you mean?
I mean, as we all know that one of the main principles in market movement is that nothing moves in a straight line, right? So if that we all agree, then of course, then when you go deeper into the swing moves, which what we did in the last Elite Traders Annual Summit, Elite Traders Mastermind Annual Summit, we then realize that even in this downward move, right, traders, as you are seeing, it doesn't go in a straight line like this, isn't it? One seller bar after another, right? So what you usually get when me and Gavin, we talk about the dance, or technically we call it the volatility, and you need to measure that, which we have measured using the SMI as well, the framework. Once you have measured that, you'll see that most of the time you get the market retracing up a little bit, but then after that, then it will then start to come further down, right? That's what you've seen, and you're seeing over here, isn't it? All this dance, it doesn't go straight down. But the thing is, if you don't understand all this and you've not measured it before you go into a trade, what happens is as you are looking to write that short, when this happens, you get fearful, you get panicky, and that's when you come out. of the trade. But if you do understand this, and you've understood and measured volatility on a statistical validative manner, then you'll be able to write that move. Okay, same for the long side as well. Okay, so that's what we have done here, because once you have the framework, the tops and bottoms quantified, you can derive all this data after that point. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Another thing in the terms of the downs also is that remember that even in an uptrend, first of all, I mean, not everybody knows even how to quantify an uptrend properly. But even in an uptrend, if you look, right, higher highs and higher lows, which needs to be quantified, the tops and bottoms, even in from a trend perspective, it doesn't go straight all the way, doesn't it? Like a straight line. So then in between, you get profit taking, or we call it retracement, or we call it counter trend, or we call it, we call it phase twos. Right? After the phase two, after the profit taken retracement is finished, then it will revert back into a phase one in alignment with its trend. So in fact, if you want, you can also call that the dance of the market as it's going through in its upward trend notion. Okay. So all these things you have to know as you are riding the move in a trade. Yeah, that's what I would define the dance as, Gavin.
Yeah, no, really good explanation. Talking of which, we've got here in the 1 minute chart of gold an up move down really to this. We can see it, the buying. Okay, we haven't seen the test yet, but it's going to very likely break out, and everything's going to turn green in all of the time frames. And what we'll do, it's going to go now. Okay, so I'm going to take another trade on this. Let me just do that now. I'll execute. Yeah, it's going. And it has to, because let me see. Yeah, okay. So I want you to watch this next price bar. If it closes up on the top, okay, and it's a 1 minute chart, so we're doing a very small time frame. This will, because of this, go straight through the top of this top. Okay.
And if
Okay.
you
And
guys,
SMI,
yeah.
I've got SMI on the other screen showing the same thing. So
Exactly, just confirmed as well. On the 5 minute, it just confirmed it.
yeah, yeah. So we'll just watch this and then we'll take questions because I don't want to make this a marathon session, but we'll watch and see what happens. Will we get down bars? Oh, absolutely, John. Yeah. There will always be that. It doesn't just go up. It takes time. But watch.
Mm.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think this is going to go straight through. Target. Yep. Okay, that's a good question. What we'll do is we'll put on here this level. Right. So you've got it. So you're thinking it's going to go up what, a dollar, $2? No, it's going to go way through that. Watch. There's your buying. Okay, that's the background. Okay, it's clear. It's marked it out. Okay, everything's turned green. Now watch. Now what we want to see here is a test. If we don't see a test, it just keeps going up. That's really bullish. But I think it's going to blow straight through the top here. In fact, I'm 100% certain I'm right. An SMI shows me on the screen I'm right. And we just watch it go. And where, yeah, what level? Well, I don't care. I mean, Tiru knows how I trade. I don't set levels. I don't set targets. There's no point. It's going up. I'm completely right. SMI is completely right. VSA is telling me this is going to go through the roof any minute. And if we see a test, it's even better. But I don't think we're going to see one. I think it's just going to go straight up. Anyway, we can do this all night because we know we're right. but that's not the point.
Let me show it on my screen as well because it's all confirming.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've got total confirmation on everything.
so if you guys can see over here as well, so on the 15 minutes, so the VSA trigger lines are already up here. And then if you look on the 5-minute, right, as well, then you can see that, there we go. So we had the confirmation bar here. The bottom just got confirmed, right? And for those of you, and you can see the bias table here, gold, in terms of all the time frames, is all mostly aligning to the upside. Stretch is also taken to the upside as well. So it's all confirming to the long. And if you did want to put a target based on statistical probabilities, I would at least go for the 50% number, which is 1 ATR. So we can do this together in real time. And then for another strategy, like what Gavin would be trading on his trade, is you don't need to even put a level, a target level in. But if you did want to put it, so on the close is where we usually will enter. So that's 2755, right? So let me just change that to blue. And our stop loss will go for the swing low, just to give it room to breathe. And then in terms of the 1 ATR level, so what is the ATR at the moment over here is $2.18. Very small target what here from the 5-minute on a probability basis. 2757 is what we are looking at basically. So $2.18, isn't it? To 2757. So let me just quickly add that up. 2755.78. 2755.78 plus my $2.18 over here on the ATR, which is what we are getting, 2.18 plus 2.18 and 2757, isn't it? 0.96. So I will do that. 2757.96. Okay. So that's what we are looking for here. Okay. So all that on a statistically validated manner over here. Okay, so all backed by probabilities as well, according to this framework. 52% chance of getting there, but with phase ones, taking on phase ones only with trend alignment, the probability will improve. In fact, we are putting some filters in to upgrade the indicator also. Very soon it will be released. So we usually get about 63%, usually about 10% higher to hit this target. Now, if you do not want to put a target like what Gavin would do, then you can just keep trailing it behind the VSA light curve over here as well, the parabolic curve. That's another way of doing it. So we'll wait and see how this carries on. That's how I do it.
What we need to see now is a test in this area.
Yeah,
It could pull back, and it's a 1 minute chart. We're
yeah.
not looking at a small.
And that's the dance, isn't it, that
Yeah,
we're looking
it's
at
enough.
basically.
If we get a really good test here in a rising market, which is
Yeah,
sign strength 30, which we've programmed in to the pro version, I haven't seen it, but if we do see it,
yeah,
we'd start adding to the position here because I can see that this is bullish and it's holding its line, but it hasn't tested it yet. And if you look at all the dots, everything's green. It doesn't mean it won't fall because there's definitely supply in the background. But if it does test, we're going to have a really, really good session here. But
nice.
it doesn't. It hasn't happened. And this is the wonderful thing about trading. If it doesn't happen, you just got to react to it and go, oh, okay. But I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, but we'll see. And what happens if when the test appears, it'll produce an indicator, possibly both indicators actually, SMI, VSA, and the market will then blow off up to the upside. And everyone who's watching this video will go, "Oh, I understand it." But if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Oh, there we go.
I mean, that's the usual thing we always say, isn't it? Even when you lose, you should understand why you're losing. And even when you win,
Can
you
you,
should
can
understand
you
why you're winning.
Right. So can you see that green box?
Is it, yeah, over here? No,
Yeah. The green box that's appeared. Can you see it?
not yet. Maybe you can share your screen. Let's see on your screen.
Well,
Let's go for it.
yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah.
see
Mine
it?
saying 1 minute. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it-
Ah, you got a
Test.
test.
Now, wait. I know I'm right. I know you're right. That's accumulation. That's what this is designed to do. It's incredible. And here it goes. I know you're looking shocked. Look at it. That's a test. Correct. Tested a rising market. It's the one I developed. And there it goes. And everything behind it is now turned green because it's accumulation. Watch. Tiru, you've been telling me all the time, we've got something really good here. Well, I know we have, but you try selling it in the marketplace, I don't think we need to. That is exactly what we were looking for. And we were doing it live, and there it is. That's a test in a rising market. It's one of my favorite indicators. And it's backed up now with this accumulation zone, which is all green, backed up by the buying. This is going to go up.
Done this several times. I mean, live as well. I mean, the reason is why we got conviction because it will keep recurring again and again. These principles are very strong in time, traders.
I the problem I have with it, I suppose, is trying to explain it. So let's explain it. The SMI indicator I've got on the other screen, it backs up the buying. So you've got buying here, right? We've got two lines. Okay. You've got a test, which was what we're looking for. This is going to go straight through the top any minute. Any minute. It's going to go right through it. So I'm long. And so should most of you should look at this and say, okay, does that make sense? Watch, because it's live. We're not doing this in hindsight. We're not doing this on a PowerPoint. It's live. And you know, if it comes back down and retests, that's even better because you're buying lower. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen here with the test is we're going to retest this area at the top. What's your thoughts, Terry, on this chart?
Absolutely. I think people just need to understand the basis for even taking the trade, right? No point just looking at us, just seeing, okay, nice entertainment and all, but we are showing you all this just to make you all realize the principles behind these recurring price patterns that keep occurring in the market. And if you all can get it, then you can use this even in your own trading as well on any instrument. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But again, everything that we've explained, right? The dance and everything, you got to be patient, wait for the open equity, wait for the trend alignment, all of that. And we're seeing it here live.
Yeah, watch. It's about to go straight through the roof. And I hope you all listening can understand the logic. Let me explain. We've got SMI, okay, which is definitely the backup. We've got VSA, which is the backup. But what we have is buying on ultra high volume down moves with the next bar closing higher. Okay. It's a dance. This is a 1 minute chart. Okay. So it's not going to just take off, but it has actually while we've been watching this. And now it's marked down. That's normal. That's absolutely normal. Don't freak out about that because it doesn't just take off to the upside. It will break out, I'm sure. What we want to look for is opportunity. Okay. Now, if we analyze this bar right now, these next bars, we can see that the market doesn't just take off. This is gold. It doesn't just take off immediately. It takes time. And that is the frustrating part for many traders. They go, well, I'm looking at it on a 1 minute time frame. I need it to move up. I need it to move down. No, you don't. Watch. Watch. What you'll see is the market telling you what it's doing. And it's the market. It's not you. It's a very interesting situation because if the next bar closes higher than that bar, right, it's gone. It's going straight up. But I can't tell, nor can you, because we're dealing in time. Now, the bar is closed. It's a 1 minute chart. There's nothing in VSA that I could analyze here until this next bar closes. If it closes up here, I'd have a very good idea as where it's going. At the moment, it's going sideways, which I think you'd all agree with. And therefore, we wait and we watch. And, you know, I'm conscious of time because I know that many of you have, you know, got, especially in California, are up earlier. But you wait. We analyze it. And I'm using SMI on the other screen here. And what we're seeing here is a potential top, but not a top. And so we have a test and there's no demand. There it is. It's just appeared. Nothing wrong with that. Right, which means they're trying to push it up, but no interest. The signals are correct. Doesn't mean I should be short. I would never short this. What I'm expecting is what we call a spring. And a spring is a movement of price that pushes through this top. Okay? And it's on an increase in volume, but not excessive volume. You don't want excessive volume because that is usually weakness. I think you're going to see it, but I can't tell because it's live and we're broadcasting live at 3:30 UK time, just after 3:30 UK time. I think I'm right, but that doesn't make me right. I don't pretend to be right. I pretend to look at the chart, actually. If it breaks this top on increase in volume, that is confirming the test and the buying in the background. And then you can say, oh, you were right. It doesn't matter. I'm not right or wrong. I don't care. Because you trade what you see. And I think Tiru would agree with this. Tiru, go back as we're watching the chart here. We'll see what it does. You trade what you see, right? You don't try to prejudge it. You just trade what you see, right?
Absolutely. I think if people want to get a bit more conviction in moves like this and start to understand why should I wait through, why should I not panic? I mean, you can use the replay function in TradingView and you can start to simulate this and start to see how it behaves. This will get the fear out when you're trading in real time. For us, we've seen this quite a few times. Of course, as the fundamental rule is what? Is that price does not move in a straight line. So you will not see that once you place your trade, it will go straight up to your target. Very few times it does. In fact, I would say less than 5% when you look at all your trades, even on whatever time frame that might be. But once you start to accept the dance, the volatility, and also have measured it as well, then you would then gain the conviction what me and Gavin are having over here, and you would wait on that trade. And also, I also want to mention that, as Gavin has mentioned this before, it is not about getting this trade right or wrong. We might both be wrong on this. That's not the point. Trading is not made out of one trade, right? Probabilities cannot be made out of one trade. It's a series of trades. That's how probabilities are made of. And then out of those probabilities, as long as your total gross profit overrides your total gross loss, You got a net profitable strategy. All these things you have to map out for your strategy construction. This is how we teach you guys and we mentor you guys as well, me and Gavin.
Yeah. And you know something, sometimes with trading, you get a really good result. You'll hit the button right at the right time, and the market will collapse, and you've nailed it, or it'll go up, and you've nailed it. And other times, it'll just gyrate, and you'll go, well, I'm in the market, and which is fine, and then you're frustrated because you go, well, hold on, it's got to give me the money. Watch what happens here. This is exactly why I'm in this trade. At the ultimate thing, I don't think this is going to go anywhere right now, looking at both screens, because it's not ready. It's not ready. And it could immediately suddenly take off. And we'll watch it for a couple more minutes while we take questions. But yeah, it's it's a very interesting chart because it's the mushrooming. I mean, it's what I've talked about in my book. You know, the market's trying to, it's got an imbalance here of supply and demand on a small time frame. By the way, 1 minute chart. Let me be clear. Gold. Okay, that's what we're analyzing. And it's moved up and then it's moved sideways. It's not moved down, but it's definitely moved up, but very slowly. And there's a test, you see. This is what happens. And this is why the markets work the way they do. In SMI, it picked up the bottom perfectly. Um, in the pre in my other screen, you've got the buyers here. Now, if this is going to go up, it's going to take out that top. Okay, and it will do it in the next 10 minutes, maybe less than that. If it doesn't and the test fails, it will come back down and retest this area. That's perfectly fine. That's what you'd expect because there's a lot of supply here. 100%. All right, I've got questions. I've got loads of emails coming in, which we'll answer. We'll obviously get back to them. Terry, what's your final words of wisdom? So we don't want to keep this a really long thing, but I think this is about to go up. I mean, I can't. It's about to break out, but you know, as soon as I switch the camera off, it's going to go straight through the roof. So I know that. What's your final words of wisdom for people that? Oh, there you go. There you go. I knew that was going to happen. There you go.
Yeah, I think the patience has paid off. I think the main thing, as I said, traders, don't get too caught up. Okay, even if we get this trade right, it hits our target. I mean, remember that it's just not about one trade. The main takeaway is what I want you guys to understand is first, think in terms of confluence of factors. Think in terms of trend alignment. That's the first thing. And to do that, you need to have a good framework, and the SMI will give that to you. Definitely check out 7steps to CTP.com. I'm sure the team has put those links over there for you guys. Go through those videos, study them really thoroughly because it's over 15, 20 years of research that we have put that together. So after you got the framework right, then after that, check in terms of trend alignment for all kinds of time frames. Then construct your strategy with clear rules of entry and stop loss and target. And then after that, test that first on a small account, and then you're good to go live and to scale it up. That's what I would say. And I will always say that think in terms of probabilities, never just think just one trade. Think in terms of open equity and always think in terms open equity, as I mean how much move is left, which is what we saw over here on a 50% probability. On phase one will be about 60-70% probability for you to get what's the distance. Over here is 1 ATR on gold. And the other thing I would say is think edge. Think why your strategy must continue to work. This is what I would say you all should take away.
Yep, I think that's great advice. And you know, at the end of the day, the way we teach. Oh, there's another test. You see, this is very common. Um, This is quite interesting because the new software, and I've put these new tests in. They're testing market testing, and I've been asked about this before. Um, what is a test? Well, it's very straightforward. It's testing supply. Simple as that. That's what it's testing. It's testing supply. And if they've got this big volume bar here, and it comes down and it tests, you're going to see a breakout now. Okay, I'm gonna add to my position here. I think we stay here for a few minutes, Tira, if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
It's about to break out.
One more thing I'll add to that is, traders, if you can see the two bars before when it took out that high, and that's the time when we would trail our stop loss to the low of that lowest red bar there, because that's the one that took out the that's the last place where the stops were taken out over here. We'll trail it now to here, where the last place where it took out the stops before it took out the high. That's how we wait to trail. In this way, we give the trade enough room to move to its next level and also minimize our risk as well. Yeah? Let me just quickly just check that. 2754, isn't it? Is where we are having. I think actually it's more lower on the 5-minute time frame. But yeah,
Yeah,
but those are the
that's
things that you can
brilliant.
look at. Yeah.
Yeah, really good. Sorry, I'm talking to a couple of guys, but yeah, that's really good. Yeah, and now what we got to do is wait for this next bar to break higher than the close of the previous bar, and then we've got it very close. A brilliant session. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I mean, at least we're showing you stuff, and yeah, if you look at the logic, yeah, it's there. Buying here, okay. It's taking out the buying. It's testing it right now on a 1 minute time frame. If it takes out this top here, which it already did, it moved up, but that was a seriously big move. If it takes it back up, then VSA has to be real, but we'll see.
Mhm.
And SMI is confirming everything, the whole thing. Yeah. Terry, what else can we do? I give. I, I, you and I talk, and we say, well, what else could we do? I don't know. I don't know. We're showing you what the markets do in real time, but it is difficult because I know exactly what's about to happen, and that's really worrying because I know this is going to be a test, a further one, and then it's going to go straight up.
I mean, we always will keep doing to transfer the belief and the understanding to the clients, but then of course, like in everything else, you guys also have to put your own effort as well. That's when the knowledge is going to sink in.
Yeah, that's right. It's not about us. It's about you. Yeah, I agree. Okay, watch.
It's a test on a 5 minute, and then the green box has come up as well on the.
Watch. It's about to go straight through the roof. And then we'll end the webinar. But everyone will know that we've got this bit right because we have. Because we're pretty good analysts, the two of us. And I'm using two systems here that are showing me that there's going to be, it's not going to move quickly. I think it's going to be so, but I don't think we'll be wrong. Yeah,
Slot.
so we got a test.
It's a lot of waiting in trading. You got to master patience.
Well, we're on a 1 minute chart because we're on a seminar. So, so yeah, it could take a long time. I know, but I'm pretty confident.
We're having some takeoff now. Let's see.
Hmm.
What was the last high? The last high was 2757.11. Holding good so far.
And if there's any questions, by the way, please put them in because we're still here. We've overrun a little bit, which, which I'm fine with.
I think the final section is Q&A, but I think before we wrap up, really, if you guys got any questions, just post it in.
Yeah,
I'll scan through as well.
yeah, do that now while we're watching this because it's not moving. There's nothing happening, and if it does move, and I'll be there. But yeah, what a great session! Really enjoyed it. Yeah, put questions in.
Yeah. I think we said in the beginning that we'll cover the live potential trades which we have, and we looked at some strategies
Hmm.
for you guys. Definitely, I think you guys can look at the trend alignment table to use that in your own trading. Have the framework, it'd be much more better because it'd be more structured. And then after that, then Q&A is the last part of the section before we close up for today.
Sure. Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, some of my team here are like, oh, it's going to go up. I'm going to go, okay.
I think we've got a few questions coming, Gavin. I think Zamarani is asking what are the best settings for VSA?
Well, hold on a second because I'm in this trade now. So let's, this is about to go.
Looking to push through that high. That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna take this. Oh, well, oh, I've already entered. Okay, so we got the test. Can everyone see my screen, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. This is just about to go. Everything is green in the software, and now it's I mean, I'm relaxed and I'm happy because I know it's about to go, and it will, but I don't know when. I want to close the webinar and say, okay, we'll keep it to an hour and a half, but this is about to blow. There's two tests. SMI on the other screen, absolutely nailed on. Okay, so we'll watch. There's no reason for me to close anything because this is about to go through the roof. It, it, it's timing. I don't think I'm wrong. Hmm. Yeah.
We have another question coming in, Gavin. What is H stop in VSA?
So the H stop basically it's a trailing stop, which I would use right now. Let me focus on this. This is going to go right now. I know I'm correct.
It just matched the top,
Yeah, it's
2757.11.
going to go through it. I already know this. But the point is, the H stop, what it does, it trails the stop, which is what I will do here. Okay, you got the test, you got two tests. If it takes out this area, which it's trying to do, what the volume will come in, and the SMI
Oh,
indicator shows all of the.
it's taken out the high now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course it will. And it's not a question of being right or wrong. That is really bad. If you, as a trader, stand up in front of people, you know this, Tiru. You say, "Well, I'm right. I am always right." I'm like, "You're never right. I'm never right." But we're good at teaching. And watch what this chart tells us. That's it. Just tell us what's it telling us? It tells us that there's buying in the background, which there was. This is a 5 minute chart. If we put the 1 minute chart up, it'll be even more interesting. Yeah, to entertain you. You've got tests. It's trying to break out. It's got buying in the background. There's no doubt about that. That cannot be it. Look at the volume. We're very close to a breakout, but it's not going to do it. Not right now.
Costas, you're asking, I think he's got a question, Costas. SMI works as an index. You mean works on indexes in the trading view environment? It will work on any instrument, to be honest. Yeah, anything. ETFs, currencies, whatever you want. It will work on anything.
Correct. It does. It works on any index. I mean, I'm talking to people who are trading the Nifty, which is in India, um, stuff in Singapore. This works on everything. This is the reason where obviously now it's interesting. One of our clients has said you've got no demand all over the top of the instrument that you're looking at. Oh, is that wrong or right? It's, that's a great question. Well, the no demand says it's not ready to go up yet, but that's the dance. That's a perfect example of it. It's you've got no demand and testing in an area where the market doesn't know where it wants to go. Is that right? Is that wrong? Uh, I personally think that the market will go up, but what, Tyrrell, what's your view of that? I mean, if you look at something like that where you've got buying and then it goes sideways, what would you do? Would you take a trade here? I personally wouldn't.
I think when your strategy rules tell you on what specific um, specifications you're supposed to take the trade, that's when we would take it. Not just blindly, right? We never do that anyway. So
No. So you wait. Hmm. So, shall we take final questions? Because I'm very happy with this. I mean, I think this will move up, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next 10 minutes. So, it's been a really great event. Really enjoyed it. Your final thoughts and advice for people, and then we'll wrap up.
yeah, I would say the 3 points again. I just looked at some things that came in actually. Do you look to enter high volume? I think Nikhil said something. Confirmation the SMI bottom gives you the added confirmation that you're dealing in accumulation. Absolutely, yeah. In the background. So wouldn't you be more confident on the long than a short? Only a short if, according to the strategy rules, then it fits in. Main thing, Nikhil, I would say, which will add a lot of confirmation and probabilities for your strategy to win in the long run is trend alignments across different time frames. That is very, very important, which is what I showed you in the beginning. Showed you all. Use that for any strategy you're doing. It will definitely add and increase your probabilities of winning. Great session. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Glad to present. That's fine. The other question, Anthony Costello is, do you look to enter after low volume bars following high volume depending on the indicator? How would you answer that, Gavin?
So the golden rule is very straightforward. Is when you see ultra high volume on a up bar or a down bar, that's the hammer hitting you on the head saying, hey, wake up. Okay, you've got to look at the chart. This is what Tom told me. And I said, okay, so you've got this ultra high volume, massive move up, or as I've shown in the YouTube video. And then they said, well, you've suddenly got low volume in the same area. That doesn't make any sense. It does. Absolutely does. And I would answer the question to Anthony, say, well, look, if you see massive volume, that's you waking up saying, oh, the elephant or the gorilla, as I said in my video, is in the room. Something's happening. But if you get low volume in the same place, that's equally important. And it's more important, actually, because what you're saying, or what the market's telling you, is the smart money that moved in here to the left are not interested because they've got low volume to the right at the same price level. And the market makers know it, and you should know it. Get that bit right, get it in your head, and know that that's exactly how VSA works. And we've seen it in multiple time frames. That's important. And I'm sure Tiru would echo that, you know, ultra high volume and low volume is incredibly important. The two things sit hand in hand, but it's difficult because your brain doesn't compute it. It's like, no, hold on. You said ultra high volume is weakness and low volume is no. They're both important. And if everyone gets it, you've got ultra high volume, which is the start of accumulation or distribution. Okay, distribution at the top, accumulation, which is what we've done in our professional version of the software. It shows it. And then you put the SMI indicator over it and it says that's the top, that's the bottom, based on certain things. Fine. It's more confirmation. And then and this is what Tom taught me. It's down to you as a trader, not me, not Tiru, not Kieran, not Glenn, not Laura, you. You become the trader. We can teach anyone anything. You are the expert. And actually you really are. And you have the skill. And I've found it for myself. I didn't think I could do this. I didn't think I could write 3 books. You have the skill. And all you need to do is apply. Now, here comes the difficult part. I'll share it with you before I go off and trade again. The thing that you need to learn is you hold the key. Not Tiru, not Gavin, not anyone. You hold it. And you have the skill. But I didn't know I had the skill. In fact, worse than that, I denied it. And I was talking to Tom and he was trying to teach me and I said, I just don't get this. And I walked down the seafront in Worthing, which I did. He said, "You've got to write a book." That's what he told me. And I said, "Well, I don't know how to write a book." He said, "Think of the name and then we'll work on it." And that's what Trading in the Shadow of the Smart Money became. All of you listening to this webinar, all over YouTube, I can assure you of one thing. You all have the ability to become a great trader. And the tools are here. Doesn't matter what you choose to get there. I know I've had my difficulties with which software, which this. But with Tiru Nagapan, Master the Markets, the team there, and with what we're doing at Trade Guider, you are in the right place. Please do me one thing, or one favour. If you want to move forward in your life, go and study on YouTube, indeed, which is probably the best place, a guy called Dr. Wayne Dyer, Wayne space Dyer. Okay, and just find the information that I know, and you will be enlightened. And whilst we're looking at charts here, yeah, it's going up. Of course it is. Yeah, gold's breaking the top. It will do. But that doesn't matter. Oh, here we go. Yeah, getting lots of calls. It's good. It's going to go straight through the top. Tiru, any final words from you?
No, I think as I said, I mean, always think in terms of those three things, isn't it? One is think open equity, how much move is left.
Yep.
Think probabilities, not just one trade. And the last thing will always be think edge. Why must your strategy continue to work? Okay. Also go and reflect, guys. What gives us the conviction to stick through all this dance and everything? Why are we sticking through it? Right? All these things you all have to go and reflect on. Watch through the recordings, watch through the numerous ones that we have done, me and Gavin before, and we have done similar things as well. And yeah, really reflect on it. And then you can start to see how you can use that in your own trading as well.
Brilliant. Yeah. And you can see that the pounds, well, clearly here, the gold, and I've got the pound trade as well, but this is starting to break out, and it will do because it has to, okay, because it's based on supply and demand. Okay, here's your demand, here's your test. It takes time, and it's now breaking out, and everything in the system has turned green because it has to. It's going to go up. Now, some of you will look at that and go, well, oh, hold on, that can't be right. It's like, it is right because it's the background. That's the final thing I'd leave you with, which is what Tom taught me. He said, the background is so important, Gav, which is what he used to call me. I said, what do you mean the background? He said, yeah, it all starts in the background. And I didn't really understand it, but we've now made another high. I said, what do you mean about the background? The background's irrelevant. And actually, he taught me a great lesson. He said, if you went to a bank manager for a loan and you sat there, and this, we're talking years ago, the bank manager doesn't care what you're going to do with the money. He's going to say, tell me about your background, like a credit check, right? which they now have. Tell me about your background. Have you ever been a criminal? Have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? He's interested in your background because he's about to loan you money. He doesn't care what you're going to do with the money. He's interested in your background, and that's the background, and that's why it's going up, making new highs. And with that, any questions? And for Tiru or I hope you've seen what, well, we've made new highs here. Brilliant session. Really enjoyed it.
I think I'll just show them this and then we can conclude on the gold chart, Gavin.
Okay, yeah, do that.
I mean, on one perspective of a target on OE distance, which we have shown you before, traders, it has hit there at 2757.96, right? So you can take a look at that. How high has just hit it nicely, 2757.96. But there's still more move left right here. So for those of you on the ride it, then you can keep trailing it behind accordingly. But on your first target, based on OE numbers, which is what I showed you using the stats table over here, which is what my other clients in Germany, Italy, and in US, all our clients are all doing it basically, using all the stats table that the framework actually will give you on any particular time frame that you can just use. You see all these ones over here. So you can use that. Let me just make it to ATR. And that was the one that we did before to put this target, remember, that we got. I know some of you have got some questions. I know we won't be able to answer all of them. But one thing we can do is if you want, if you got any specific questions for me and Gavin, you can always book a one-to-one session here. And if the guys haven't posted it yet, I know Jonathan, you had some questions as well. So if you want to ask that also, you can always book a one-to-one session. Yeah, I think the team has put that in there
Yeah,
as well.
just quickly, this is going now. Are you still seeing my screen, or are you sharing your screen? Because I can't.
Yeah, it's going through that number even. See, there you go. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice takeoff there. Nice breakout.
yeah,
And
yeah.
as I think everything we see in theory is showing, isn't it? Look at that, all the dance. We just waited through all of that.
Yeah, there's the test. It's testing a rising market. That's a new indicator that we've produced, and I can see that that was going to happen. And it's strange when you see it, and you go, oh, hold on, that can't be there, but it is. Yeah, that's number 30, which we've programmed into the professional version, and it's broken out, and it's going to continue. And it's a great sign because I've got the SMI underneath where this happened. See where the trigger numbers are. It's broken out, and it's difficult to show this on a PowerPoint because what it does is people on a PowerPoint say, "Well, oh, yeah, you've it's live. It's what we said. The target's hit." Yeah, it's really exciting because if if we look at the basics, including SMI, you've got buying on massive volume down bar. You've got testing, and then you've got a secondary test, which has broken out of the old high, which is what I talked about earlier, and it's going to keep going. And everything here is confirming it. It's going to keep going. And if you can do this live, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, but if you can do it live, then you don't need a PowerPoint. You show it exactly as it plays out. Test, buying, trigger number, multiple testing, and then we can see it. It's a wonderful thing to see. Any questions? And you can probably see them, Tiru, more than I can.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Also, we run a bit above time, but as we said, I mean, anybody can email us as well. Or they can also book a session in as well. I think we've given all the calendar links, but definitely highly recommend you guys to check out the book by Gavin on the Shadow of the Smart Money on their website, as well as the 7 Steps to CTP really help you guys with your trading, right? And use the trend alignment table. I know Nikhil is going to be using that as well, so that'd be great. You guys do that as well, but use a solid framework where you're not guessing it, where you're trading with full conviction. I think that's pretty much that for today then, Gavin, right? I think we can wrap it up over here.
Yeah,
And
it's brilliant session. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, really good.
awesome, guys. I think if that's that, I think we will stop the recording here. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master.
Great
Thank you,
job.
and bye for now.
Yeah, take care, everyone.